Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video. And today I will be doing a first round mock draft after the Super Bowl. So we have an idea of where every team is picking. We're going to do our best to fill as many needs as possible. Before we get started, just wanted to mention you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the Just Jets Clips channel, subscribe to the Just Jets podcast, and all that fun stuff. Let's hop into the video today. I am super excited about it. I love mock draft season. And today we are doing a full first round mock draft. It's kind of going to be a little bit of a mix of what I would do and also what I think is going to happen. Now, first on the clock is the Jacksonville Jaguars for the second year in a row. And while there are two very good edge prospects, and it looked like Kayvon Thibodeau was going to be the number one pick for a very, very long time, I don't see how you could possibly not take an offensive lineman to protect Trevor Lawrence. So the best one available is Evan Neal, and that just seems like a no-brainer to me. This second pick also seems like a no-brainer to me. They need an edge rusher. They need a player with an identity to really take over on this team, and that's Aiden Hutchinson. He's from Michigan anyway, at least at college. That's where he played college ball. It's just so obvious. It makes too much sense. Now, I could see Houston going a ton of different ways here. I could see them going offensive line. I could see them going edge, but I think that they're going to go a little off the board, and not necessarily off the board of how good this player is, just where I put positional value. I think they are going to value this position because, well, who's running the show over there in New England, where all these guys were from originally, seem to really put a value on the secondary. So I think it's going to be Kyle Hamilton that comes off the board at 3, which then leaves something very nice for the New York Jets. Good problem to have. Ikem Ekwonu or Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm going to have the Jets go Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't think that they pass up on the opportunity to take a premier edge rusher. I'm not concerned, or I'm not worried about any of his stock falling or anything like that. I don't buy it for a second. I think he is going to be a good player at the next level. And he's too good to pass up on. And the Jets desperately need an edge pass rush. We saw in the Super Bowl how important it is to have a pass rush that can get after the quarterback. And Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich have stressed time and time again how much they value the defensive line. So I think they go defensive line early, which leaves the New York Giants on the clock next. And I have them going Ikem Ekwonu. They need offensive line help very, very, very badly. And to me, I think the best one available at the time is Ikem Ekwonu. They're F5. They could go edge too, but with Kayvon coming off the board, I think they're going to hold off on that for just a second here. Now, interesting scenario here for the Panthers. Did they take a quarterback? Guess theoretically they could, but I don't see them drafting a rookie, especially not in this 6th spot. I have them going with offensive tackle Charles Cross. Trevor Penning is listed above him, but I don't have Trevor Penning that high. I think Charles Cross is the 3rd best tackle in this class, so I think he comes off the board here at number 6. Back to the Giants. I almost consider going Tyler Linderbaum. Do they double up at offensive line? I spoiled what I was going to do. I'm going to have them go edge, and it's someone who is falling a little bit, but I don't quite understand why, and that is George Karlaftis. I think he is the 3rd best edge rusher in this class. I know Jermaine Johnson has skyrocketed up. He is my number 4 edge rusher, and I think he's someone who's going to go in the top probably 15, roughly. Very well might come off the board here, but that's not quite what I'm going to do for the New York Giants. I have Karlaftis going first, and I think they wait a little bit. So that comes to the Atlanta Falcons. Some needs for them: offensive tackle, edge, safety, wide receiver. Now, I think that there is a strong possibility that wide receiver becomes a need, especially if Calvin Ridley is traded, which I think, there's a pretty good chance of this happening. And in this mock draft, we're not going to do any trade backs or anything like that. So I'm kind of torn between offensive line, edge, and wide receiver here. To me, I'm going to go, I'm going to take Jermaine Johnson here. I think that's a good fit for them. They desperately need help on the edge. Their defense has been bad for a long time. I'm going to give them an edge rusher instead of the offensive lineman. Now, here's an interesting point for the Denver Broncos. I think there's a strong possibility that they are trading for Aaron Rodgers. If not, then, well, quarterback very well could become an option here. Um, Again, it's really dependent on what you think is going to happen here for Denver, if they're going to be able to, if they're, in the veteran quarterback market, or if they want to go rookie. I'm going to operate under the assumption they're going in the veteran quarterback market. And if there is someone on the board here for them to take, I'm going to take Sauce Gardner. I think he's the best cornerback in this class. And I think that would be a big help on that Denver Bronco defense. As for the New York Jets, okay, you got your edge rusher. Now, what are you going to do? They need a wide receiver. They need another weapon. And the Jets are going to take Treylon Burks at 10. They could go Garrett Wilson. You could go Drake London. My preference is just Treylon Burks. So to round out the top 10, let me read them back real quick. Evan Neal goes first. Aiden Hutchinson, Kyle Hamilton, Kayvon Thibodeau at 4. Ike Ekwonu, Charles Cross, George Karlaftis, Jermaine Johnson, Ahmad Gardner, Treylon Burks. Then first quarterback is coming off the board here. I have, where is he? Kenny Pickett. I think Malik Willis, while I've seen some people say that he's the best quarterback in this class, I don't think he's going to go to Washington. I think they need someone who could come in and play right away. I think Pickett's probably the most NFL ready. I don't think his ceiling is nearly as high as what Malik Willis's is, but I almost comparison to like Mac Jones, where the floor is a little bit higher than some of these other guys. So I think he ends up being the first quarterback off the board. And here at number 12, let's go back here. The fall finally stops for Derek Stingley. He gets selected here to go to Minnesota. Cleveland, man, do they need some help. I'm going to have Cleveland go wide receiver here. And I think Garrett Wilson is the play. I don't think Jameson Williams is going to go here. I think he's going to fall a little bit due to the injury. Not very far, but just a little bit. And you'll see, well, how far he falls. But I think they go wide receiver. Obviously, Odell Beckham Jr. gone now. Jarvis Landry's getting up there in age. They need help, and Garrett Wilson's going to come off the board here. Now, interesting situation here for the Ravens. I think you can go a couple of different ways. Jordan Davis is a good player. Ojobo's a good player. I don't know if they go edge, but I think corner seems to make a lot of sense here. So I'm going to take Andrew Booth going to the Baltimore Ravens. I think that's when he comes off the board here. Now, as for the Philadelphia Eagles, let's get them rocking and rolling. They have a few options here that they could do. I think interior offensive line is definitely a strong need, especially if Kelsey retires at center, which I think is a possibility. So I'm going to have them go with Linderbaum coming off the board at number 15. They follow that up with a edge selection, and David Ojobu is right there for them to take. They're going to be happy about that. Back-to-back picks, and they have another one coming up here. Now, the Chargers. Do I think that they're going to take an offensive lineman? Not exactly sold on that. Corner? Maybe. I could see them potentially going with a corner. But instead, I'm going to have them go with Jordan Davis here. They could use some interior help on the defensive line, and this is just good value for them. I think they need help on that defensive line. As for the New Orleans Saints, what the hell do they do? Did they finally have a quarterback here? Does a quarterback come off the board? I don't necessarily think so. I think you're going to end up looking for a wide receiver here. And you know what? I don't think it's going to be Jameson Williams. I think Olave goes first because of health. And I don't think they're going to be willing to take that gamble, quote unquote. But I think Williams goes the next pick to the Eagles. The Eagles have gone wide receiver a ton early, but with two other first rounders, I think that they are able to take that gamble, so to speak. So he goes off there. Now, this one's an interesting one to me. I think for sure they've made it clear that they fell in love with Malik Willis. They might have to trade up to get him, but I'm not doing trade ups in this or trades in general. So I'm going to take Malik Willis off the board to the Steelers. Then you go right back to the New England Patriots. This is an interesting one. Could they get away with potentially taking a corner here? Are they going to go linebacker? I think they get a really damn good player in Devin Lloyd, who is sticking around. He might end up going a little bit earlier. If the Eagles, I could definitely see maybe exploring taking a linebacker, but I think they're happy that Devin Lloyd is there and they pounce on him. Now, Kenyon Green is definitely a much needed addition to this Raiders team. If you really want to get the most out of Carr, which is what they're planning to do, get him some offensive line help. So I'm going to have Kenyon Green go here. Online security is a must in today's world, and ExpressVPN is here to ensure that your devices are safe. ExpressVPN protects your computer, your phone, whatever device you want from hackers and ad agencies, so no more annoying targeted ads spamming your device. The best part, well, this actually works with Netflix and other streaming services too for your protection. Use the link in the description to get 3 months for free with your subscription. With my code, you can save 49%, and on top of that, get an additional 3 months for absolutely free. Protect yourself when you're surfing the web by using ExpressVPN. Details are down below in the description. Make sure you and your devices are safe. Now, all right, where do we see the Arizona Cardinals going? I could see a few different things. I'm going to have... I think they're going to go. I was between two positions. You know what? I'm going to say one of the two edge rushers go, and they end up taking Trayvon Walker because their edge pass rush is a little old with J.J. Watt, obviously getting up there in age. Chandler Jones getting up there in age. So I'm going to say they go Walker here. Now, the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons turned into a pretty nice edge for them. I don't think that's where they go. Could they go safety? Maybe they end up going safety. They could go tight end because Dalton Schultz might end up going here. There's really a few different ways that this team could go. Man, I'm going to have them go Wyatt out of Georgia on the defensive line. I think they could use some help there. As for the very nice Buffalo Bills, where do they go? Do they go on the interior? Do they go with an edge? Do they go with a corner? Do they grab a wide receiver? They're pretty close to as complete of a team as you could possibly go. I'm going to scroll down for a second here, and I'm going to have them end up taking Cameron Thomas off the board. I think they're going to go with a dynamic edge presence at the end here. Now, Tennessee is dancing for joy because Nakobe Dean is somehow still on the board, and they desperately need help at the linebacker position, so I'm going to have him go there. 27. Team needs for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers: wide receiver, offensive tackle, corner. They could do a few different things here. Depends on what they're doing at the quarterback situation. Let's take a look at what the wide receivers are looking right now. Drake London still on the board. I don't know if he's going to come off just yet at this point. Dotson's there. There's a few different guys. You could look at the offensive tackles. Trevor Penning is there. He would definitely be an option, I would think. Corner, Trent McDuffie, Roger McCreary are there. Elam's probably more of a second-round player. So instead, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back here and look at the full board. And this is where I'm going to have, could they go rookie quarterback? I think they're probably going to want to go with a veteran option here. So I'm going to have them take a speedy, dynamic playmaker in Dotson, assuming that, obviously Antonio Brown gone. Obviously Godwin has a chance of being gone. So I'm going to have them go Dotson. Packers, there's a real chance that they lose either one or two of Preston or Zadarius Smith due to cap circumstances. I think this is the year they finally take a wide receiver, and Drake London still being there almost feels unfair for them. So he's going to be the pick. As for the Miami Dolphins back on the clock, they have a awful offensive line. What did we have them go earlier? The Miami Dolphins did not have a pick earlier. So instead, what we are going to do is give them Trevor Penning. They need a big bully on the offensive line. Couple ways that I could see the Chiefs going. They could use a wide receiver too, but is there one really here that jumps out to you that makes a ton of sense? I lean towards no. Edge, kind of in the same boat. I lean towards no. Instead, I think they're going to take a corner here in Trent McDuffie. They need help stopping the pass. So the defense improved this year, but I think they're going to go back there. Now, obviously, to me, this is a no-brainer. Take the best offensive lineman available. Zion Johnson is just that. So there we go. Now, last but certainly not least, am I going to give you a mock draft without Matt Corral in the first round? No, he's going to round out the class. Now, I think this is a developmental player. And here, let me actually make the pick too, by the way. I think this is a developmental player. Jared Goff isn't going anywhere this year. So I think this is a spot where you can maybe sit him for a year and go from there. So to recap, Evan Neal goes first, Aiden Hutchinson second, Kyle Hamilton goes third, Jets land Kayvon Thibodeau, Ike Ekwonu goes to the Giants, Charles Cross to the Panthers, Karl Loftus, Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner 9, Traylon Burks at 10. Kenny Pickett comes off the board for the Washington football team. Stingley goes 12, Garrett Wilson off the board here. Andrew Booth, the corner, goes to the Ravens. The Eagles have a little bit of a run. They go Linderbaum and Ojabu. Then Jordan Davis goes to the Chargers. Chris Olave goes to the Saints. Jameson Williams goes to the Eagles. Malik Willis finds his home in Pittsburgh. Devin Lloyd goes to New England. Kenyon Green goes to the Raiders. Trayvon Walker, the edge, goes to Arizona. Then you have Dallas go with interior defensive line in Wyatt. Cameron Thomas goes to Buffalo. Nakobe Dean at linebacker goes to Tennessee. Dotson to Tampa. Drake London to the Packers. Trevor Penning is the pick for the Miami Dolphins. Trent McDuffie to the Chiefs. Zion Johnson to the Bengals. And Matt Corral rounds out the draft class for you there. So let me know, how'd I deal with this mock draft after the Super Bowl? Comment below. Picks that I hit, picks that I missed on. Let me know. Subscribe here if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.